Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to the session. We're gonna wait for everybody to join, more people to join. In the meantime, I'm gonna start sharing my screen so that we can get started. Right, hope you can all see my screen now. Right, so welcome, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to this live tutorial on MyELT, making the most out of MyELT, intended for users with some previous knowledge of the platform who wish to make the most out of it, okay? Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sonia Jordana, and I'm the Regional Customer Success Manager for National Geographic Learning. Before we get started, I have a couple of technical indications about your options on this Zoom session. At the bottom of your screen, you will see that there are several icons, okay? The first button on the left is the chat function. So you can use this to interact with me as I'm presenting and the other participants, okay? But be sure to send your message to all panelists, okay? And attendees to ensure that everybody to the whole group can read your message, right? Yeah. Hi, hello there. Right, I can see that some of you have already used the chat box. Right. Also on the right, you will see a Q&A button. Okay, please use this to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer the questions as we go, as they come in. But if you lose connection to the session at any time, please use the link in your confirmation or reminder email to rejoin the session. Okay, this webinar is going to last about 45 minutes. And we are recording the session, right? So if someone can make it until the end, no problem, because we will be sharing this link to the link to the recording through your local sales rep. Okay, so I'm sure we have teachers joining us from various regions, various countries, different countries today. So it's always good to know where you're based and where you're from. So while we wait for more people to join us, could you just type your country in the chat box and the name of the title of the program, the product that you will be using this year, so that we get to know a little bit each other and we know what titles you're going to be using. All right, Iraq, hello, good morning, good afternoon for you. Hello, Randa. Good, tired, very good. Excuse me if I'm not pronouncing your names well, but apologies. Right, Scotland, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Randa from Syria, welcome. Sarah from Barcelona, good. Goar from Russia, wow, very good. So on what titles, may I know what programs, what products, what NGL products will you be using this year? Using MyELT, of course, that's why you're here to learn more about the platform. Will you be using pathways? Will you be using 20th century communication? Will you be using life outcomes? What programs will you be using? Perspectives, good. One of our titles for teens, right? Teens and young adults, perspectives. Hello, Fatima. Right, any other products, any other programs will you be using this year? Waiting for you to type before we kick off. No? Okay, well, if you feel free to interact and to type as we go. So let's kick off then. The first thing I want to tell you is that obviously this is the second of the 3-level live tutorials that we will be running to help you feel confident with MyELT. Okay, the first session is shown here with the icon with the yellow frame. It happened last week and it was intended for basic users to help them get started with the platform, right? Hopefully some of you attended it and you are now a little bit familiar with the platform and how you get your students enrolled in it when you have created a course. Okay, that's something that we covered in the first session. The second session happening today with this orange frame, it's called Making the Most Out of MyELT, as you well know, and it's for teachers who have already created their courses and now they wish to learn how to create assignments and track student progress and run reports. Okay, and finally, happening next week and shown here in green with a green frame, This will be called Mastering MyELT, and it's intended for advanced users. So when you finish your session today, you will be ready for the next one with useful tips and guidance on how to copy and plan your courses, add more students to a course, and instructors. Okay, so make sure you register for the final live tutorial as well to have a better understanding of the platform. And yeah, and then you will be perfectly set and ready to start. Okay, right. Let's quickly go through the agenda for the session today. And we're going to start by talking about common teacher goals and the benefits of the platform. Okay, what benefits? To learn how the MyELT platform can help you, the teachers, plan and track your classes. Okay, try and track your students' progress. After that, we're going to go live. So at the end of the demo in this session today, you'll know how to create an assignment, reviewing the content before selecting the activities you wish to include in that assignment, and then we'll see how to modify existing assignments as well. Okay, it may be that some of you have already done that. That's going to be fine, but I will show you other tips as well, how you can plan your classes in advance. Okay, also we will see how you can track your students' progress throughout the course, view class and individual student progress using the gradebook. Okay, that's the tool that we're going to be using, the tab in your accounts, and how to manually grade your students' speaking and writing tasks. Okay, because know that all the other tasks are automatically graded by the platform, but speaking and writing would generally need your revision, okay, your feedback. And finally, we will see how to run reports and export them. Okay, we'll finish our session with a Q&A, but as I said, feel free to send your questions as we go. Okay, right, let's dive right in then. So the first thing I want to talk about is about the most common needs teachers have during the teaching cycle. And probably you will recognize this as some of the usual stages in the process. As you plan your classes, when you implement and conduct your lessons, and also when you evaluate what you have done during the course and start redesigning it with a view to the following academic year, right? So I have a couple of questions for you, and feel free to type in the chat box if you have any ideas to share. What are your needs in every phase of this cycle? What are the goals you would like to achieve by the end of the year? As you plan, as you implement your classes, perhaps saving time, perhaps you feel like using a digital platform, that's what we are here for, right? Can help you plan your classes a bit better, or can help you implement your classes a bit better and saving time, right? Is that the case for you? Just feel free to type in the chat box and tell me what your thoughts are. Ideally, not having to correct homework, right? So that would allow you to save, that would help you save time during the course, right? So let's see some of those teacher needs and goals, because for the last few months, at National Geographic Learning, we have been interviewing teachers, ELT teachers from around the world to learn about their common goals when they use a digital platform like MyELT, right, in English language teaching. And this is what we concluded. Teachers would like to be able to plan and conduct live lessons, okay, using extra resources and a platform that allows them to offer more dynamic lessons. As you can see, teachers would also like to be able to assign out-of-class activities to their students within a digital platform and get those tasks automatically graded, right? As I said before, saving your time, yeah, because you teachers are always busy, yeah. And finally, most teachers said that they'd like to be able to track class and individual student progress. So the good news is that all of these goals can easily be achieved when using MyELT, right? So would you say that these are your common goals as well? Yeah, your most common goals, the ones that you feel like, this is what I would really like to be able to do this year. And when you start your academic year, this is what you have in mind, right? And so I hope you will agree with them, because that's basically the feedback that we've had from teachers around the world. Okay, so let's quickly run through the benefits of the platform and those that we will describe particularly in our session today. Okay, the first three benefits that you will see here were covered in the first session of this set of webinars, Getting Started with MyELT, where we covered basic student and teacher navigation, how to access the course content, which is very, very easy, okay? How to access the reports, we will see that today. But your platform and the activities that are available are useful for differentiation, so you can use them especially when they are ideal for mixability classes, because you will see today that you can assign activities to individual students, okay, rather than to the whole class. But obviously, it's also possible to assign the whole unit or specific lessons to the whole group, right? Depending on your students' needs. We also saw in the first webinar that it's easy to communicate with your students within the platform, right? And then today we are going to focus on the 6 benefits that you can now see below, and we will see how those can be achieved by using MyELT, right? It's very easy to create assignments for your students. Set up assignments for the next term, for the next semester, as many as you want, okay? You can get it done ahead of time. That's why you can plan your classes ahead of time, okay? Tasks are automatically graded by the system, as I said, which will save your time. So no need to save your homework, very good news, right? Except for the speaking and writing activities, as I said before, that need to be graded by the teacher, right? With the gradebook, you can track student progress and run a term report for tracking, for example. And you can also drill down as much as you like into a student's performance. So you will be able to identify areas of weakness, like is it set here? So identify issues that some of your students may have, right? We will see how to do this in the live demo session today. But for those of you who have never seen the activities that can be assigned to students within MyELT, let me show you now a few examples, okay, very quickly. So we'll see the examples linked to the benefits from a student's perspective now. Okay, so with MyELT, students, remember that they can access MyELT by using a tablet or a desktop, okay, but this is not compatible with mobile phones, so they cannot use MyELT on mobiles. For the best experience, they should be using it on a desktop or a tablet. So students can study outside of the classroom, anytime, anywhere. So it offers learners more flexibility and more convenience, right? They can work with a variety of engaging online workbook activities. Remember, the activities they will find on MyELT are those are the same as those available in the printed workbook of the book, okay? Including audio and video from National Geographic and TED Talks. Okay, MyELT engages students and supports classroom materials by providing a variety of interactive activities covering all 4 language skills, as well as grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and speech recognition. Okay, and these that you will see now are examples of the kind of activities available on MyELT for your students. These are the activities that you will be able to assign, and we will learn how to do that today. Okay, so some of them are drag and drop activities, or multiple choice tasks, okay, activities where they need to type in their answers, right? Listening tasks with integrated audio, like this one, it's a listening task, and then they have a multiple choice with a drop-down menu there, or listening tasks with video, like this example from Perspectives with TED Talks, okay? All those activities are designed to reinforce and consolidate what students have learned in the classroom with you, okay? In most of the times using the printed students book, right? But it just depends, because obviously MyELT can be used in a variety of learning environments, right? So some more. Grammar and vocabulary support is provided. Whenever a new grammar topic is introduced in the unit, as you can see here, there is a grammar reference available at the top of the screen. Yeah, you see there where it says grammar reference. So they can see this or download it, right? It's like the grammar reference that they would find at the end of the student's book. The tasks are automatically graded, so students get instant feedback on how they did. Once they are done with a particular task, like this, they would click on submit down here, right? And at the bottom of the page, and then they get instant feedback on how they did, okay? Like this. If the teacher enables this option, okay? Because it's also possible for teachers to untick the box where you, when you are creating an assignment, if you don't wish your students to get feedback. So if you prefer to give feedback on those activities in the classroom, you can untick the box. But by default, this is what they would get, right? So whenever they complete an activity and they submit their answers, they would get automatically, get instant feedback, okay, on how they did. And then if by clicking on show answers, as you can see there at the bottom, they will see the correct answers, okay? And it's also possible for them to try again by clicking on this icon here at the top. Yep, this is the retake button. So more things, students can track their own progress to see how well they did in each activity, because they can also see their grades. Not only you as teachers, but students can see their own grades. And here is an example of the grades as learners can see them, right? So they have the grades section here, and they have a list of all the activities they've completed within an assignment, and then the attempts they took and the score they get. Okay, right. Finally, the platform allows easy communication with the teacher. So whenever they have any questions, they can obviously come to you in the classroom, but they can use the platform to send you an email as well. Right? All in all, there are a lot of benefits and a lot of reasons to use MyELT. So let's see them live now. Okay. So for the first part of the live demo today, live demo session today, we will learn, remember, how to create an assignment or how to modify an assignment. And then we will quickly have a look at the gradebook, where you will be able to view class progress and individual student progress. And also we'll learn how to manually grade speaking and writing activities and provide your feedback for your students. And finally, how to run reports, how to generate them and export them. Okay, right. So without further ado, let's go live. Right. So this is my MyELT homepage. I'm gonna sign in using my teacher credentials. I'm sure that all of you have your teacher account, your active teacher account now. So you have been provided with your username and password. In case any of you don't have these credentials, please reach out to your local sales representative, and they will be happy to assist you. Okay, right. So I've signed in, and this is the dashboard. This is where I land, and here I can immediately see the course I am teaching, right? Remember, something that we saw in the first webinar is how to create courses, right? How to create a new course from here. So this is not something we're going to see today. If you have questions about that, I will recommend watching the recording for the first webinar, okay? But we will also be offering a second set of webinars starting from October, okay? So if you wish to attend them live, feel free to register for them as well. Right, so I have a course and it's ready. You see, I have some students enrolled in that course. So what I'm gonna do is create an assignment, and guess what? I'm gonna go to the assignments tab, obviously. So I'll click there, assignments, and as you can see here, for this particular course, right, I have some previously created assignments. So assignments that I've created already for this group, right? But let's imagine that in your case, you've just started your course, you select the course once you have created it on the platform, right? You launch it as we have done now, and we go to the assignments tab. And here, this will be blank, it will be empty, right? What do you have to do to create a new assignment? Click here, click on assign activities, right? This is the option we will choose now to create a new assignment. The first thing you will see here is that you have to choose the content. You have to choose the program, the National Geographic learning book that you are using. Okay, obviously, in my case, I have access to all our programs, all our titles. This will not be your case. You will only see in this list the book that you're using, perspectives or pathways, whichever it is, keynote. Okay, so based on the course that you have selected and for which you would like to create an assignment, this case is Life Intermediate, I'm going to choose that one here, Life British English. See, looking for it because I have various titles. These will not be that long, okay? In your case, you will only have access to the titles, the programs that you're using, okay? So Life Intermediate, right? So imagine that for this particular group, I would like to create an assignment, set an assignment for Unit 2, okay? Because in the classroom, I've already covered Unit 2, and I would like my students to do some extra practice to consolidate what we have done in the class in terms of reading and grammar, okay? So this is Unit 2. You see what I'm doing? I'm just using this plus, yeah, icons to these crosses to unfold, to reveal the content of each unit, okay? If at some point you would like to include the content for the whole unit in an assignment, you would tick it, you see, and automatically it would select everything in the unit, right? That's possible. You could also select more than one unit and include that content into your assignment, but this is not what I'm going to do today, okay? This is not what I'm going to do today. What I want to do is to select from Unit 2 the grammar and reading and grammar activities. As you can see, these are in Lesson 2, right? So I will select Lesson 2, and this automatically includes all the activities. But something that you might want to do is to have a look at the activities. Obviously, it makes sense, right? So you see this magnifying glass icon. This allows you to preview the assignment. So if before selecting the activities, you want to see what these activities like, what it is about, you can click there on that icon and you will see that this is a reading passage. And in here, students have to choose the correct name to complete the sentences by dragging and dropping. Okay, so this would give you an idea of what the activity is like, and you will be able to decide if this is an activity that you feel it's going to be suitable for your students and you want to include it or untick it. Okay, similarly, you will do the same with the grammar. Okay, so whenever there's a grammar exercise, you can click there and have a look at it. And if you're happy with this exercise being part of the assignment, you will select it. Okay, just to give you an example of some of the grammar summary reviews. You see here is the grammar support. Some of the grammar support offered in MyELT is shown as a video, right? So they've got videos, they've got grammar references in PDF format. Okay, right. So let's imagine that I'm happy with this selection. Okay, Unit 2 for Life Intermediate. I will click on Continue, and it reminds me that I've selected multiple assignments. That's fine. That's why I clicked on OK. The next step is choosing the name for your assignment. So here you have to give your assignment a name. And we always recommend including the unit, as I did now, okay, Unit 2, reading and grammar, right? And I can say it's week 2, September, week 3, September 22. Depends on what you want to write, but just for you to easily identify the assignment, and also for your students to easily identify the content for that assignment. Now, what you can see below is the most important thing when creating an assignment. You see that by default, the system allows your students to take the activity 3 times. Okay, this means 3 takes, and all of them will be saved and recorded, and you will see them from your teacher account. However, if you wish to use these for assessment purposes, or if you wish just to give them 1 take, okay, just 1 opportunity for them to complete this task, that's absolutely fine. Look, you can select between 1 and 10 takes, okay? So by default, as I said, it's number 3, but you can change that depending on what you would like your students to have as possible takes for that activity, okay? Then if you choose more than 1, the system gives you the option of keeping all the results that your students have achieved, okay, and use the last one as part of their score, or use the best one as part of the score. That's something that you can decide, okay? By default, we recommend the last one because we tend to feel that it's the one that will be the best, right? But it's absolutely up to you, and obviously it depends on the number of takes that you give them. The next one, which it's generally, I mean, by default, it's an unticked box. It's telling you that if your students close the assignment without submitting their answers, right? If you tick this box, it would count as a take. Okay, one of the 3 takes will be done. Okay, that's why this box is unticked, because we prefer them to be aware that obviously it doesn't count as a take unless they click on submit. Okay, and then this one is generally one that we would recommend ticking, because obviously what we want with MyELT is to promote ongoing continuous learning from your students, right? So this is why we would like to tick this box and allow your students to see the questions and the answers, the feedback, the automatic feedback, instant feedback that they get, and also the correct answers. But if you don't wish them to have a look to see this, you can untick it, okay? I will leave it as it is, and I will move on to choose a date, okay? The date here is important because this is what allows you to plan your lessons. By setting assignments in advance, you could perhaps create this assignment starting from the 10th of October, okay, and finishing on the 10th of November, and also specific date, specific time, sorry, if you wish this assignment to be due on a specific date and time, okay? What does this mean? It means that after this due date, your students will not be able to complete the assignments. It will be removed from their list of assignments in their accounts, okay? So this is something to bear in mind. If you prefer not to have any issues with the assignments or with the students who may have missed some lessons, maybe because they are ill or they are on a sick leave or so, just tick here anytime and not specify, which means that the assignment will be available from the moment you create it until the end of the year, right? So it's up to you. Obviously, the system allows you to select, to make your choices. And if you choose this, it will not prevent your students from taking the assignment during the course. However, if you prefer to give them a limited time, then that's when you should select this due date, okay? I will leave it like this, selecting 1 month ahead of time, or maybe starting today. Let's see it like this, because I would like you to see that this is live. So starting today and finishing in 2 months, right? The next step is saving. And as you can see here, it gives you a summary of what you have selected, the activities that you have selected, and you can also preview them as a student. So you can get back and flicker here to have a look at all the activities that you have selected as part of this assignment. And if you're happy with that selection, you don't need to change anything. However, you may want to modify the options if you feel like, oh, maybe this is something I would like to correct and amend or change. So this is what you would do: modify options for all assignments in group. Here, you see, you are taken to the previous step where we have selected the name and we have selected dates. So you would be able to make your changes and save them, okay? Right? Good. It's also possible at this stage to modify assignments, right? So if you feel like we modify the assignment for individual students, for specific students, instead of creating the assignment for everybody in the group, you might feel like for a specific student, for example, for Alex, I would like to give him an extra month to complete this assignment. So this is the way I would do it. I would tick on his name here next to his name, click on continue, and then I would select a different date for this particular student, and then I would save the dates, okay? So this is it. This is how you create an assignment. And if you go back to your list of assignments here, now you will see that we have my new assignment there, right? Reading and grammar, the one that just created is there, starting today and due date being the 10th of November. Okay, right. We've seen how to create an assignment, right? Using this assign activities button. I will quickly show you how to modify existing assignments from this tab. It's very easy. You can easily tick on the title, just click on the title, and you have access to the window, the screen that we've just seen, right? Where you can modify the options for the whole group or for specific students, exactly as I've just shown you for the new assignment we've created, right? And alternatively, you can tick here and choose modify dates if what you want to change is only the date, the start date and end date for this particular assignment, right? So for example, in this case, I would like to modify this. So I will come here and say, instead of finishing on October the 2nd, I will give them 1 extra week, right here. That's it, and save dates. So this will modify the dates for the whole group, okay? Yes, for all the activities within an assignment. Any questions about the assignment creation process? I will stop here to have a look at the chat box for a while. No questions have come in. Feel free to type in the chat box if you have questions, or let me know if it's clear. So far, so good, and we continue. Okay, thank you, Tamsin. All right, thanks. All right, so next step then. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about how you can track your students' progress. We're gonna click on the grade book, okay? So imagine that after assigning some of the activities, you would like to see what your students have completed, right? It makes sense during the course to see how well they're doing. That's something that you can do from the gradebook. So let's click on the gradebook. And please note, the first thing you have to make sure is that if you have more than one course, the course that you wish to review, okay, that you wish to have a look at is shown here, right, next to this gradebook section. Otherwise, if you have more than one course, you would have to tick this box, this arrow, and you would have, like me in this case, more than one course, and I would be able to modify or change a different one, okay, to see the results of other groups, right? But in this particular case, this is the course that we've been working on, Life Intermediate 2022, right? And you see that the list of my students appears at the bottom, okay? Oh, there's a question there, Alia. It's clear, but can we download the app or cell phone or just on laptops and desk computers? Right, MyELT is not available on an app or is not suitable for students. I mean, it's not available for mobile phones. It can be used on mobile phones because, you know, by the way that the activities are displayed, it doesn't provide a good experience, user experience, right? So for ideally they should be using desktops or laptops, okay, or obviously tablets, as I said at the beginning, okay? So no mobile phones or apps here. Right, so once you've selected the course you wish to review, here you have the list of your students, and in there you can see that I've got 3 students enrolled in this group so far, Julia, Marta and Alex. The total score is the overall grade for that student, right, in the assignments that the student has taken so far, okay? So for example, in this case, I can see that Marta has been working hard, okay? But this progress shows how much of the assignment they have completed, okay? So only half of the assignments, so not all the activities. And in this case, you can see that she's been working hard. Her results are quite good, but for example, Alex has just done some part of the assignment, but so far he's doing pretty well, right? So you can get a global picture of the whole class, right? From here, from the actual screen, from the first screen, first view on the gradebook, right? Then, if you want to get into much more detail and drill down into the student, you can have a look at all the percentages that are shown here under each of the tasks. You see, this is this is the title of each of the tasks I've included in my assignments, right? And you can see that I can get specific information on what each student got here, right? One important thing to note is that if you have created more than one assignment for this group, you should filter them from here. You see, I have more than one assignment for this course. What I'm gonna do is either see them all, which is by what I can see by default when I land on the gradebook, or select, for example, the activities in the first assignment I created, this one, right? So, and then I can use the bar to move to the right and see the results my students have achieved. Okay, so let's have a look at some of these results. For example, let's see what Alex did in this listening task. Okay, I will click on the percentage that he got to actually see what answers he got right and wrong. And you can see that the feedback is here. It's showing in green are correct answers and showing in red are incorrect, right? So you can flicker and see what he got wrong. Okay, at some point, I may want to leave a comment for Alex saying, please go back to just try to do this activity again, or let me know if you have questions. Depending on if it's a grammar, a reading, a listening exercise, you might want to change the score if you feel that he did better, he deserved a better grade, and also leave a comment for the student, right? At some point, it's also possible that you would like to contact your student. So send a message to Alex, just to Alex, through the platform, right? By using this option here, sending an email and adding some comments for him, right? Good. I will return to my gradebook to show you another example. Let's have a look at a writing activity. Remember, I told you that for the writing activities and the speaking activities, you would need to provide feedback, right? Because the other activities are automatically graded, like all the ones that you can see here. For example, this sign here, this icon here shows that the activity hasn't been completed by the student. Okay, so it's grading incomplete. It means that the student has started the activity, but hasn't finished it. Okay, and you can see that there's here the information about each of the icons that you can get in that on the gradebook for your reference. So let's have a look at one of the writing activities that I assign for my students. You see, writing task. Okay. In this case, we'll have a look at Marta's writing. I will click on the percentage. And this is a writing task where the students have to use the notes on the left to write the second part of a block. Okay, comes from a previous activity. And here I can see Marta's essay. I can see what she wrote for this particular essay, right? And if I click here, review scores, I can actually see what she wrote and provide comments, leave comments for her, right? I can just say, well done, or be careful with spelling, word order, or whatever feedback I want to provide. And note that here at the top is where I would be grading this essay, grading the assignment for the student. So in this particular case, I have given her 8 out of 10, but you can quickly modify that and say, okay, I will give her 10 out of 10. Okay, you see that this is automatically changed, and the grading is something that you have done manually, right? If you want to provide comments, remember, it's also possible from here. So we've seen manual grading for writing tasks. We've seen how to track your students' progress by clicking on the percentage, yes, that they got. And now I will quickly show you one of the activities that are speaking for you to see that students can actually record themselves, and you can listen to their voice, to their recordings, and provide feedback on their pronunciation, intonation, etc. Right? I've selected one of the activities that Marta completed. This is a listen and respond activity. You see, this is what they can see from at the beginning. They need a mic to be able to complete the activity. So this is a reminder for students. But you have the playback option here. So you can listen to what your students, in this case, what Marta did for this particular activity. So I would like to listen to that for a while, and you can hear it as well.
Hello, how are you? My name's Grace Larson.
Hello, I'm fine. My name is Marta Lopez. You see? So
2.
the answer that
I work in marketing. What about you?
I work in a school. I'm a teacher. Okay, so you may want to finish, obviously, listening to the whole track, yeah, the whole audio, to be able to grade the assignment for the student and leave a comment, right? So I just may think that, okay, she deserves 7 out of 10, right? And here, leaving a comment, it's also possible. So I could just go back here and say, good job, be careful with intonation. Okay, so that's something like that. And then my student will get this feedback. My student will be able to see any comments that I leave here. Okay, right. The last thing we need to see today is how you can run reports, right? We've seen how to view students' progress individually and for the whole class, a global picture. You can filter by assignment, okay, when you have more than one assignment. And here is the report creator tool. You see, this is what will allow you to create reports, generate them and export them. There is more than one report type here available. And I will recommend you that you to use the first 3. As we will see now, I will give you more detail on the differences between each of these. But the most common and the most useful would be the scores by student with details, the scores by student with a summary of all the categories, if you want to get a global picture. And then if you're interested in learning or finding out how long each student spent in each of the assignments, then you could use the time spent by student. There are more options. MyELT is a comprehensive platform with a variety of options in terms of reports. But let me quickly show you this one live. Okay, I've selected the scores by student. By default, you don't need to change this, it's fine. Okay, you can select these as it is. If you work for a university and your students, rather than entering their names, they're using an ID, then you would select these, like the sign-in ID or the student ID. But the most common situation, a scenario, would be the first and last name. Okay, there's a question there. I see there are also placement tests. Yeah, but placement tests are also only associated to a few of our programs, not all of our programs. Okay, for example, life includes placement tests, but not all of them. Is progress calculated within the score? Yes, you can see both progress and score, but in different columns. Okay, Sarah. Right. So in here, I will create my report. Right. I will just click there. And you see that immediately below the list of grades and information for every single student appears, right? So I can actually have a look at it with the overall grade for the student and the specific grades that they got in each of the activities, when they took the activity, okay? When it was due, when they took it, the score that they got and the maximum score possible, okay, the percentage. Then the same for the other students. But the most important thing here is that you can print out this report, and also it's possible to save it as a PDF, right, as an editable Word file in this case, or as a spreadsheet for you to enter other grades if you wish. So you would select this and then save and print it out, export it to your team, to your device. Okay, right. So what we will do now, we will go back to our slides, because I want to show you some of the most common reports, right? So the most useful reports that I have shown you live are the ones I'm going to describe for you to have a bit more information of which ones are the most useful. So let's talk about tracking again. And the most useful reports, as we have seen online, there are various reports types available from the Gradebook tab. Remember, from your teacher account, you go to the Gradebook tab, click on the report creator, and then you will see the list of reports available, these ones. And the 3 that we generally recommend, and the first 3. okay, that you can see highlighted in there. Let's have a look at them very quickly. Scores by student, the one that I've just shown you, this report shows the scores for all the activities taken by a learner. And obviously, if you've created assignments, these will show what the student has done in that assignment, okay? Then the second type is the score by student summary, global picture with the categories, okay? This lists all the students in a group with their scores and percentages. So it's a general report with information about every student in the class is included, okay? So it's good for you for day-to-day tracking. And then finally, the time spent by student report lists all the assignments taken by a student in the course, the score and the total time spent, okay? So in the date that work on the assignment was last taken, the score and the total time spent by the student on the assignment in that question. These are also very useful one, particularly when you want to drill down and see what each student has done and how long they spent, because sometimes you know that you might feel like they are cheating and they didn't spend much on each of the assignments, right? Another question, right? If we create assignment in groups, is it possible to see the grade for each group? Actually, that's what we've done. Yeah, so we've accessed the grade book, and what you can see there is the global picture. What do you mean? Like a overall grade for the whole class, right? Is that what you mean? Because in this particular case, what MyELT shows you is the grades that each student has achieved, right, in every single task. And then from the two percentages that we've seen on the left, the scores and the progress, you can see the global picture for the whole class, right? So I don't know if that answers your question. We'll wait for you to type in the chat box, right? Any other questions? Because this brings us to the end of our session today. So feel free to type in the chat box if you have any other questions. And progress is not calculated. It wouldn't be fair to give a student an example of 8 when they only did 50% of the assignments. Right, so these would depend on what you prefer to track your students, on how you would like to assess them. Right, progress is calculated because let's go back to the actual assignment, so the actual grade book. You can see the progress is there, right? And this is the score. Progress is calculated here. In the reports, what is shown is the total scores and the overall grades that they got per assignment. If you wish, what you wish to track is their progress, then you should focus on this column. All right? Yep. Hope that's clear. Good. Any other questions? Could you please send the link to the first session? The links will be provided through your local sales rep, and also they will be added to the NGL hub. Okay, I will share the link with you now. So if you don't have any other questions, let's move on very quickly. So the last thing to mention, yes, is that we have, if you have any questions, if you want to refer to the recordings from previous webinars, we have a brand new online hub full of resources and onboarding support for teachers and students. It is in line with the features we have covered today. So this is the one that you should refer to. Yep. Those that were explained in the first of the webinars, getting started with MyELT, and also those that we will be describing next week in the final webinars, mastering MyELT, right? I really encourage you to save this link and navigate to the teacher section to find helpful documents, user guides, video tutorials, and other resources that will allow you to get started, okay? And also, final thing, for troubleshooting purposes, you can go to our new support site, which is this help.eltngl.com, where you'll also find video tutorials. If you click on MyELT, then there are user guides and frequently asked questions to help all users get set up and familiar with the platform, right? Good. So now, final thing, how confident do you feel now about starting to use MyELT? Hopefully you will be in the highest part of this rung, right? After our session today, you already know how to create courses, get your students enrolled, something that we saw in the first webinar, and today, how to create assignments and track your students' progress. All right, 10. Tamsin says 10. All right, my pleasure. Right, thank you all very much for your time and your participation, and hope wishing you a lovely rest of the day. Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.